Dwyane Wade buyout from Chicago Bulls opens door for Miami Heat. A subject that Miami Heat president Pat Riley danced around just days ago now has been opened for a possible embrace. 2 days prior to the opening of training camp, the Chicago Bulls agreed Sunday to a buyout with Dwyane Wade that will make the former Heat guard a free agent once he clears the NBA's 48-hour waiver period. A potential Wade return has been embraced by several members of the current Heat roster, including Hassan Whiteside, Dwyane Wade, Wayne Ellington and Udonis Haslem, who spent extensive time with Wade during the offseason. It also has been a subject that Riley and others in the Heat front office had deflected, with Wade under contract to the Bulls. Now, after spending 13 of his first 14 seasons with the Heat and sharing in 3 championships with the franchise, this is the possibility for the 35-year-old guard to finish off what began with his number 5 selection in the 2003 NBA draft. "I have a list of places that I will look at," Wade told the Chicago Tribune. "What it's about for me is looking at the right role. I feel I can still play." Wade left the Heat in the 2016 offseason for a 2-year contract in excess of the $40 million offered over that span by the Heat. According to ESPN, Wade agreed to forego approximately $8 million of the $23.8 million he otherwise would have received from the Bulls this season. Wade said Sunday that it became about more than money with the Heat a year ago when he left to play for his hometown team, perhaps with bridges still to be mended. "I left Miami last summer because it wasn't the place that I felt wanted me to be there the same way I wanted to be there," he told the Tribune's Casey Johnson. "What I wanted back in return, I didn't feel I got. The decision I made gave me an opportunity to live a dream out. You learn from every decision. Were there things I missed in Miami? Of course. We built a lot in 13 years. That can't be replaced anywhere." The Heat have only a $4.3 million mid-level exception to offer Wade, having gone above the salary cap this offseason to re-sign James Johnson, Waiters, and Ellington, as well as to add forward Kelly Olynyk. Whether that is enough to entice a homecoming could come down to whether Wade instead pursues teams with better championship odds. Among the possibilities for Wade would be a reunion with Heat championship teammate LeBron James with the Cleveland Cavaliers, joining close friend Carmelo Anthony with the Oklahoma City Thunder, being united with friend Chris Paul with the Houston Rockets, or potentially signing with one of the teams in Los Angeles, where Wade spent most of his offseason. ESPN has also linked Wade to the San Antonio Spurs. Asked last week about the possibility of a reunion with Wade, Riley said, "I feel great about our relationship that we had over the 13 years. Anything that happens from a personnel standpoint down the road, or any opportunities that are there, we're always going to approach that. But right now he's under contract with Chicago and I wish him the very best." That all changed Sunday with word of Wade's agreement with the rebuilding Bulls, who earlier this offseason traded all-star forward Jimmy Butler to the Minnesota Timberwolves and cut ties with veteran point guard Rajon Rondo. The Heat and Bulls finished tied at 41-41 last season for the 8th and final Eastern Conference playoff berth, with Chicago winning the tiebreaker by taking the season series 2-1. A Heat reunion could require a change in course by the Heat and coach Erik Spoelstra. Waiters stepped into Wade's starting role last season and subsequently was rewarded with a 4-year, $52 million contract in free agency. In addition to the starting backcourt of Waiters and Goran Dragic, the Heat's backcourt also is loaded with youthful backcourt options such as Tyler Johnson, Josh Richardson and Rodney McGruder, in addition to Ellington. In the wake of Wade's July 2016 departure, the Heat spent $92 million alone on the contracts of Tyler Johnson and Richardson. Following Wade's departure last summer, the Heat moved to a ball movement offense that emphasized three-point shooting. Wade, who has struggled from distance with his outside shot over his career, had been more of a half-court, isolation presence during his breakthrough Heat seasons. Despite apparent animosity with the Heat during the 2016 negotiations, Wade was embraced during his return last season to American Airlines Arena. Riley stepped away from the Heat's 2016 negotiations with Wade, with owner Mickey Arison handling those talks. Riley spoke of ensuing regret of not being more proactive and losing the franchise icon. "The buck really stops here," Riley said at the time. "I'm not trying to fall on the sword for anybody. I have great regret that I didn't put myself in the middle of it and immerse myself totally in the middle of it."